I'm tired. I'm tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if it was because I'm dope sick or some shit like that, I could deal with it. Because I would know what the cause is, I would know what needs to be done, and I would know I'm the one making the choices here. But I'm sick and tired for 25 years because of somebody else's lies, manipulations. They wanted to enrich themselves. They wanted to make themselves happy at my expense. I'll give you an example, and then I can't take this anymore. I gotta turn this off. For the 4 years, for the years I lived in Haverhill, other orphans that had no parents wanted to go out and get me clothing. They wanted to get me clothing. Orphans. Why? My father's getting $980 for me. My father's wealthy. I have a mother and father. Why the hell would other orphans with no parents be trying to give me clothing? It got to the point where I would ask them, can you get me a shirt? And after only 2 months of this, they told me that no, you guys can't give Zach any of your clothing, even if Zach is not asking, just because he looks like a raggedy boy in short shorts and you guys all think his clothing is like the worst in the world, doesn't mean you guys can just give him clothing. The other orphans felt so bad about the way I was constantly dressed that when they went shopping every month with their clothing check, because they were clothed properly and they had more than they needed, so they wanted to help me out. Program said nope, nope, no. You know why the program told all these people not to help me? Because I had a father that was supposed to be helping me with this. Why should 12 orphans that have no parents want to give a person in their program clothing that's the raggedy boy who has very wealthy parents with two houses, a beach house, goes on vacations, and the father's collecting 980? But do you think they told me any of this? Of course not. You know what the program told me? Ask your father why you're getting punished to your room. Every month, right from the get-go, I'm not allowed to go to the mall unless I have a clothing check or money to spend, and the kids would always come back wanting to give me something. And after a while, they would just sneak it, give me the really old stuff. They would wear it for like 2 months, keep buying new clothes, and then they would just give me something they wore one time and say, I don't want it anymore. I'm going to cut up the rags if I can't give it to Zach. And I would just trade them a cigarette. We would say we traded, and it would be okay. We were able to find ways where people would say, Zach, do you like this shirt? I say, I like it. You want it? Sure, but you're not allowed to give it to me, they said. I'll give you whatever the hell I don't want to give you. Here, take the shirt. You think you can make me a cigarette later? Yeah, of course I can. Okay, thank you, Zach. Here we go. Some kids even wanted a pack of cigarettes, and they're like, Zach, keep it a secret. I really need a pack of cigarettes. If I make out a list, if you make out a list and give it to me, will you sell me a pack? Sure, I will. They all knew me as a kid who didn't have clothing. They felt so bad. All these orphans and all these kids with no parents, you could see it. That the staff were like, why are these kids so feeling so bad for this kid with no clothing and this father is not even caring? And so I go to my father. I tell him, all these other kids are getting $200 clothing checks a month, going out clothing shopping, and I'm not allowed to go, and I'm supposed to ask you why. You know what my father responded with every time I asked? They're not getting $200. I don't want to hear about it. And then it continued and continued and continued. Now, why didn't I ask my father for some of my Social Security for clothing? Why didn't I demand $100 a month out of my 980 just to go clothing shopping every month? I mean, I have a clothing check coming in every month. Why didn't I ask? Well, my father lied to the very end, even when it was illegal not to tell me. He didn't tell me about the Social Security all the way up to 18, but even when I had to use my Social Security for my own rent at a program, and the paperwork asked that, and the program's supposed to train you how to use your Social Security, how to reapply because you're becoming 19. They're supposed to do all this work with you. Nope, he's lying to me, the program, DMH, still keeping the Social Security to himself. I'm over that. But my father needs to realize what he did was wrong, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg. My sick and tired comes from poisonings, comes from pills, comes from an overdose, comes from lack of medical care, comes from lack of fucking caring, lack of following Jesus, lack of treating others how you wish to be treated, lack of oversight, lack of just neglect in general. Letting your wife beat and poison a child for 15 years has consequences. Causing an overdose and not bringing your child to an ambulance has consequences. Letting your wife continue trafficking and hiding her crimes and not putting anything real down on his medical file has consequences. Not only does it have consequences for me, where I'll be pain, most likely die and suffer, people don't just sit down and take it. So there's other people who have to face the consequences as well, either legal or not legal. But there are consequences for crippling a child and causing them a lifetime of pain. And they're called natural consequences. Now, you could just admit to it, handle it with the person, especially that I have open arms over here, ready to forgive him. I mean, the person who did it to me is my mother. He was just greedy with the money. I mean, I'm willing to back him to a point where he's not going to go to jail. He's not going to get in trouble. He's almost 90, so nobody's going to really fuck him over. But this can't keep a secret. He can't keep on running away from this. I can't just die for his sins. Fuck no. If that's the case, he's up for a rude awakening. Oh yeah, even if the courts don't come for him, you better believe there will be other people. There's going to be a lot of people. And if they don't believe me, that's all right. There are shitloads of evidence going back years. And maybe you crippled me so much that I can't walk or drive. But other people can drive. Guess what, Dad? I am keeping a record of everything and mailing it out to over 100 people when I die. And they got cars. Not just that. I'm going to take a couple matters into my own hands as well. If I have to die because somebody else wants to commit crimes and play with themselves on vacation and cripple a child, and then I don't even get an education, I don't get to ever be treated like a human being thanks to these other people, and they want to run away and lie and create fantasies and just keep on going in circles with their fantasies, I will either try to help you and break that up, but the minute there is no way for me to survive, the minute I have to die for your sins, you better believe that something will be done about it, legal or otherwise. And don't forget, if you don't get caught, it's legal. If I die right after a crime, it's legal. Oh yes, you can't charge a dead person with a crime, can you? I don't have any children or anybody else you can put the crime on. So it's perfectly legal as long as you die in the process. And that's what my father said. That's what people said about my mother. My mother committed crimes. I've tried to tell, oh no, she's dead. We can't charge any crimes. All those crimes are legal as long as the person is dead before anybody brings it to court. That's what I've been told over and over and over. Stuff can be done to clean up the situation and make things better for the people who are alive, but don't think you can charge a dead person. Don't think you can get justice against a dead person.